Hey guys, it's a beautiful day. Trying to get started early because it's Arizona, pretty hot. And we've got a Surface 604 Rook that just arrived. These guys have sold through shops a lot, but they also sell online, and sometimes it's cool to get the open box experience. So just gonna look in here. This is completely sort of packed up. Got some nice bubble wrap. Doesn't seem like it's punched through the box anywhere. And yeah, just some zip ties and stuff. Actually got my dad over here who's gonna help unpack the whole thing, so let's do that. So we got the thing out of the box. It tipped a second ago, which sometimes happens, but we've got these awesome little caps to protect the disc brakes. There's just the side of a tire. The rack has bubble wrap, and maybe we messed up the kickstand just a little bit. So I don't know, that's kind of what it looks like. I'm gonna get some cutters and take the zip ties and just start doing the actual build process. It does come with a couple boxes with charger, pedals and stuff, and yeah. Thanks, Dad. So they use grease on this thing, so it's gonna hold up okay. So the tools that we used for this assembly were scissors, some zip tie cutters, a 15mm wrench, and 5mm and 4mm hex wrench with a pair of pliers, so I could really torque it down. And again, there's 3 bolts on the headset. There's the top one right there, and then there's one on each side. So the cuff grabs it, but you want this one to be pretty secure, and then tighten these ones so that, you know, the steering doesn't get loose. And the kickstand worked really well. I love how it was out of the way while I was assembling these pedals. I could just rotate backwards, have them thread. The lights are integrated. Be extra careful with those wires so you don't snip those accidentally when you're getting the bubble tape off. And then I might use, you know, one of my own zip ties to kind of, you know, bring this together. But yeah, everything looks really good. This wasn't difficult to build at all. She's all set up. The Rook is looking awesome, and it's just a beautiful evening here, getting to be around sunset. And I thought this would be cool because we can check out those lights. So the Rook weighs about 56.6 pounds. The battery pack there, it's like semi-integrated into the down tube, 7.5 pounds. And I think that's decent for, you know, an electric bike that's got the fenders, it's got the integrated rack, suspension. This is a coil fork, so it's not quite as adjustable or lightweight as an air fork, but I love that it matches the paint job. We've gotten a compression slider here along with full lockout, and that's great for if you're a heavier rider or maybe someone who's on smooth terrain and you don't want that bobbing feeling, but maybe you're a heavy rider and you do want some comfort. You've got a preload adjust here, so you can tighten that down and it preloads the spring. So I just love that, and I really like that this bike comes in 2 different colors. You know, you hear me talk about visibility a lot, and you've got a nice visual footprint, and you can really see this thing pop, especially because it is, you know, getting to be a little bit darker here. And this doesn't have reflective tires, so having a nice bright frame and then the integrated lights is a big deal to me. There's a lot of little accessories here. They've kind of just done everything that, you know, makes this rideable. It's kind of feature complete. That's the word I like to use. Kickstand, adjustable length, clear of the pedals. You're not going to bump into that if you're backing it out of your garage. Really nice sealed bottom bracket here with the integrated torque sensor. So this is a big deal. A lot of the more affordable electric bikes like this, they'll just have a cadence sensor, which is more of an on-off feeling, and this is much more fluid and responsive, like right when you start pedaling. And of course, it also has the trigger throttle, that override. So it gives you a lot of options, but when you're actually pedaling, it's a little bit more comfortable and natural feeling. I appreciate that. The wires are pretty well integrated and kind of tucked in. A little bit of a mess up here. You know, I just unpacked it and did my best plugging things in, and they've got the color-coded connectors that are supposed to be sealed pretty well against water. I love that the lights are integrated, both the front and the rear, because a lot of times the rear lights, especially with bikes that are sold online, they just do an independent light with like AAAs. And, you know, that's a bummer because you've got that big battery, in this case, 48 volts, 10.4 amp hours, like almost 500 watt hours. It's a pretty great battery in terms of capacity. You want to be able to tap into that, you know, and that's powering the 500 to 750 watt Bafang hub motor back here. Silver with the silver spokes, a little bit thicker 12 gauge in the rear, 13 gauge up front. So everything's a little bit, you know, raised in terms of strength so that this bike can handle a bit more weight. I don't have the high step, but I did measure all the dimensions of the step through, including standover height. This one's going to be a little bit easier to approach, step over, and just stabilize if you're someone who's, you know, just shorter inseam and you might have to hop off and you don't want to get hung up on the frame. So I'm actually a big fan of these, and I like that they make the black and the white, again, because it might be a his and hers sort of a setup. And as a guy, you know, this is kind of it can be a masculine looking bike in the black color, and I appreciate that. So a second ago I was talking about the battery pack, and I actually have a charging cable here for my phone, and I haven't tried this yet. I'm kind of curious. I want to just plug in because they do have the USB port, and occasionally I'm able to test these and just to verify. So I got my phone here, so I just plugged it into the bottom, and look at that, yeah, it lit up. So it is charging. There's a little lightning bolt in the corner, and the display's not even on. So, you know, you could charge your phone whether it's on or off the bike, and that's nice because a lot of times I will take the battery off, especially when I'm mounting it on a car or bringing it inside, just to make the whole thing lighter. And maybe I'll, you know, charge the battery and keep it in a cool, dry location to help it last longer, but I could use that to, you know, power my iPad or my phone or something. That's really cool. So coming back to some of the other specs here, we've got 11 to 32 tooth, 9 sprocket, Shimano Altus. That's one step up from a Tourney, so it's a little bit nicer, a bit lighter, and it looks nice too. That's pretty cool. I love that they've got the trigger shifters up here instead of the big thumb shifters that you see on a lot of bikes, because these are just easier to reach and quicker, and I think you can do like multi-shift with the low gear. Appreciate that. Basic, cheap, ergonomic grips. They could spin a little bit, but that's something you can easily upgrade. I'm just a huge fan of the hydraulic disc brakes, because you've got adjustable reach levers. They don't take as much hand strength to pull, especially the rear brake, because on a mechanical brake that line has to go all the way down there and it stretches over time and stuff. So that's a big upgrade to me. 44 tooth chainring right here with a nice chain cover. It's plastic, so if it gets scratched and stuff, it's not going to get rusted like steel. It might rattle a little bit more though, and I noticed that with the fenders as well. They're lightweight. That's part of what keeps this, you know, a little bit lighter, 56.6 pounds, but they can rattle. And actually the fender, when I got it, it was a little bit warped, and it was touching the tire. So I made some adjustments back here, but I ended up just putting some styrofoam under here and then left it out in the sun for an afternoon, and it straightened out. So I'm actually pretty pleased with that. And of course you can take all those things off if you want to. Quick release on the front wheel while we're up here. 160 millimeter brake rotors with dual piston calipers from Tektro. Pretty great. And then the brake levers also have motor inhibitors, so anytime you pull those, it overrides the throttle, it overrides pedal assist. But again, this is a torque sensor, so it's less likely to feel out of control. It's just a little bit more stable and natural. I definitely appreciate that. And then the rack here, we've got that nice pannier hanger, so if you've got the clip-on style, they can clip right here, and there's plenty of room for a trunk bag up top. It's really solid feeling. There's a little loop here for if you have a bungee strap or something like that, and then the light also staying out of the way. It just feels a little bit, it's bigger, you know, it's got the reflector built in, and it's going to be a bit brighter. I like that light, considering that there are some cheaper parts on this bike. You know, $17.99 is a pretty affordable price point on an electric bike like this with all these features, and that's US dollars, because again, Surface 604, the 604 is Vancouver area code, like phone number. So the idea is that this can ride over all kinds of surfaces, whether it's, you know, a nice trail in the park, like a paved path, or maybe up in the mountains out in the distance, or even near the beach or whatever. This thing is probably not going to ride like on the sand or the mountains, but it's a little bit more capable, and it's set up for the rain, and you're not going to get wet, and you're not going to get your pants dirty and stuff. I like the gel saddle, 30.4 millimeter seat post. You could always upgrade that to a seat post suspension. I think they even sell one as an upgrade on the website. Decent pedals. You know, they're Welgo. They're a little bit more solid. They got the rubberized edge. Sometimes these are a bit more slippery than the big like BMX style pedals that Welgo sells, but when you slip on those, you know, it cuts up your shin, and that's happened to me quite a bit. So that makes sense for this type of bike. I feel like it's a pretty good fit. And at the rear, we don't have quick release. We've just got the standard, you know, 12 millimeter axle with nuts, and then that motor cable. So, you know, do keep an eye on that. You don't want the bike to tip over to get that snagged. At least it's coming out the side versus like straight out the end. Seems like it's tucked away, but you can see the derailleur cable here. We've got the wire for the light. There's a little bit more going on here, but I think it's pretty clean the way they've got this set up. Some nice zip ties, and there is a quick disconnect right here. So if you do have to service the rear inner tube, maybe you have to replace it, you get a flat or something, it's going to be easier to do. These are 26 by 2.1, so 2.1 is a little bit fatter, gives you a bit more air volume for comfort and for stability, makes the bike track pretty nicely. You can ride, you know, and not have it getting, you know, speed wobble or that kind of thing. And because they're 26 inches in diameter, that brings the whole frame down compared to like 27.5 or 28. So that's really complimentary on this step-through frame. The tires, they're a little bit more basic tires. They don't have like the puncture protective lining. They don't have the reflective stripes on the side. They're just standard Kenda tires. But thankfully, that size is pretty universal, so you could upgrade those if you want to, and it's back to that cost savings. One of the things that they did include that I really love here is bottle cage bosses right there on the bottom of the down tube. Really unique. You know, sometimes you see them up here, but then it makes it hard to step over and it gets kicked and stuff. So down here you can imagine a little folding lock, or even, you know, like a water bottle, and I think it would stay pretty clear of that fork, and you can bring something along if you didn't want to have a bag or, you know, something tied onto that rack back there. Maybe you're just going for a quick jump around town and you got your lock there. Real easy to grab. One thing that you might want to bring along to extend your ride is the charger. It's a 2-amp charger, relatively lightweight, pretty compact, very, very standard, basically what I'm used to seeing. Comes with some reflectors. I did not install those yet. And then the manual. So that's kind of everything you get. And while we're out here, I thought it'd be cool to take the battery off. So just go ahead and insert the key, twist it, and there's this little latch right here. And look at that. See how it comes out sort of from the side, or like at an angle a little bit? That's what allows them to have this really low top tube and get it really tight. And I feel like it protects the battery from being kicked, or if the bike tips over or something, keeps the weight low, relatively center. I do like this design. And then you can actually lift it by that lever. So 7.5 pounds. It's the 48 volt. There's the USB we were looking at a second ago. And then there's the charging port at the base. And the nipple, the little rubber thing that covers it, actually seats a little bit better. I used to complain about those. They didn't always stick in super well, and it could be a bit of a bother. So let's get this back on. So it's seated at the base. Just kind of click it in, wiggle it around. Yep, looks like it's pretty secure. And then I think the keys, yeah, they're spring loaded. So, you know, you basically just pull it out and you know that part's locked. And then the charging port here, it's a little bit close to that crank arm, but not directly in front of it. I've seen similar battery designs where it's lower and the cord's literally like gonna bang into your crank arm and get bent or broken. Because, you know, we saw that little plug. It's not the sturdiest thing in the world. So just be careful. Regardless, be careful. This is expensive. It's a nice part of the bike. I think it's time to turn this on. And when we get up here in the cockpit, I noticed that the reach on this bike's a little bit shorter, so it provides a bit of an upright position, especially if you raise that Satori adjustable angle stem. I did tighten it down. You know, this was one of the parts when I was building the bike. You wanna make sure that it's feeling pretty secure, and if you ever feel that there's a little bit of play in that, just, you know, get in there and tighten it right away so it doesn't start to strip. got a low-rise handlebar that's relatively short. It's not sticking out super far, and that might be nice for cruising around town between cars, or even just getting it into your house or your garage or whatever. Not bad. Gonna go ahead and hold the power button here on the little button pad. Look at that, just comes to life really quickly. Not removable on this display, but it does have some adjustability here. It's real nice, smooth. It feels pretty durable. And then back over here at the button pads, I was just thinking about like the reach. You do have to reach over the trigger throttle a little bit, but the plus and minus are right there. It's not too bad. I like the setup pretty well. The default display is the battery infographic with 10 bars. So that's 10 little steps, 10%. I mean, that's much better. A lot of times I'll just see like 5 bars, and it kind of leaves you guessing. You know, 10% steps is much, much better. Speed, it's in kilometers per hour right now. Trip distance, and then the different levels of assist. So if I hit the minus key and go down to 0, nothing's going to happen. The throttle isn't live. The pedal assist isn't live. It's just basically a bicycle, but a bicycle with a display and lights. So let's check that out. I'm going to hold the light key for a second. Look at that. The display lights up really nicely, and then I could actually see a little bit of light happening out there on the gravel. Very nice. Just super bright, aimable. I do like this light. However, it is mounted to the arch on the suspension fork, so as you go over bumps, that light's going to bounce up and down a little bit more than if it was mounted up here. But there's all these cables and stuff. Sometimes you can mount it here, but the display is in the way. This is not uncommon, and again, I think it gets the job done. It's got the reflector, and then the rear light. This is what I was talking about before. You know, there's only 2 LEDs in there, but there's a huge reflective surface, and it's open on the sides. So you can be seen from more than just straight on, whereas the headlight's a little bit more of a, you know, straight on sort of a view. So appreciate that. If you press the I button here, it's going to help you cycle through some of the different readouts. So we're in trip right now, total distance, like odometer, max speed 34.3 kilometers per hour, average speed 7.3, and back to trip. So that's pretty cool. And then if we double tap the I, it takes us into the settings menu, which is kind of neat. So yes, no on this one. Let's see what else we got. Kilometers per hour, miles per hour. I'm going to switch it to miles per hour because I'm in the United States doing this review. Keep going. A couple different things. And then there's a password. That's the final menu. You know, the level of assist that you're in, it does limit how fast that motor's going to go. There we go. There's level 5. Getting a little bit more speed, but it's really smooth. It feels pretty quiet. You can see miles per hour, it gets above 20, and it actually kind of cuts out because that's the Class 2 legal limit. So again, this is a Class 2 electric bike, meaning it has a throttle. You could disconnect and remove that throttle to make it Class 1 if you wanted, but the throttle's kind of nice for me, like starting from stoplights or from stop signs. The downside is, again, it's limited by the level of assist. So a lot of times I like to ride in 2 or 3 assist and then get that throttle to give me a boost occasionally to climb a hill or to catch up with a friend. And in this case, in order to get the full power of the throttle, I'm gonna have to go click, click. And the menu doesn't go around, so it's kind of like click, 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 down, 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 and then click, 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 up, up, just to get the throttle. That's something I feel like Surface 604 could open that throttle up a little bit more and allow you to have full power. I mean, it's a variable speed throttle, so, you know, even though we're getting the most power potential right now, I'm able to make it go slow just by pushing it halfway. So yeah, those guys, you know, I just don't understand. Sometimes it might be a safety thing because I think the bike turns on. We're in level 5 right now. Let's turn off the bike. Okay, held the power button, it turned off. Hold it again, and it starts in pedal assist level 1. So they might have done that for safety because sometimes, you know, when you start out, that throttle is hot, but it's not super powerful. So, you know, who knows? Chime in if you've got some feedback about that. I think overall, you know, I really like these bikes. Again, this is the Rook. They also have the Colt. It's very similar, but it's a high step model that might look a little bit more masculine. The frame's going to be a little bit stiffer, but I actually think this frame's fairly stiff. I wasn't noticing like a whole lot of frame flex. Yeah, because just the way that the frame's designed and everything with those double tubes right there. And then, you know, the rack is very sturdy. It's not one of those like bolt-on ones that's going to come loose and rattle. And I love the hangers and everything. It's pretty sweet. So I think I'm going to hop on this thing and maybe ride around, because this is a golf course over here, and it sort of opens up in the evening. Wonderful experience. So maybe I'm gonna put it in level 2 and just do the throttle. No problem at all crossing the grass, and actually pretty smooth and quiet because of the suspension. Oh yeah, and the pedal assist, it's really subtle. It's one of the most responsive pedal assist systems I've tried. You know, again, a lot of times it's like you barely move your pedal and it's like, burn, it kind of takes off on you. I'm gonna take it down to 1. It might be even more. Yeah, just really nice. There we go, and I can start to see the light giving me some visibility on this blacktop. Take it all the way up to level 5. Really zippy, and the motor's actually, I would describe it as it's smooth and kind of quiet, powerful, but yeah. And then there's the, you know, the stability shot that I was talking about with the bigger tires. Let's go off-road here. Yep, got the suspension moving pretty well. Wow. Check out the moon up there. Just a really beautiful night. Okay guys, unfortunately we got the chain cover in the way, but we got that 44 tooth chainring, 11 to 32, 9 sprockets in the rear. That's plenty. So the steps are really fine, you know, the smaller increments, and you can just dial it in terms of the pedal cadence that feels comfortable. I'm just impressed with how quickly the motor starts and stops, how fluid it is. I am on grass, a little bit of dirt right here, so listen for the fenders. There is a bit of rattling, and that's just how it goes with plastic. But the cool thing is you can bump into this, and it just springs right back. Great stopping power too. I just bumped my knee on that rack, so be careful. I'm gonna take it down. That was level 5. And take it down to like level 2, because I actually think you get a lot of power here, but it's just a little bit more. It's kind of subtle and it feels pretty natural. Okay, and right at the end, I didn't get any assist because I was hitting like 14 miles per hour, and I think there's like a speed cap for the different levels of assist. So that's kind of cool too. If you don't want to go super fast and you want to conserve the battery, just use a lower level of assist. A couple night shots.
Gonna say you out here doing some testing.
Yep.
Set your GoPro on there.
That's right. Yeah. I saw you had like a bright light up golf ball or something.
Yeah.
Huh? Can I see that real quick? Sure. Look at this guy, he had a light up golf ball, guys. That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Woo!
Come out here. Can't see nothing, but I can see that. So.
You did great. I can't see
That's
anything
cool.
even when I have it. You see how this has got a little electric system? Yeah. Gives me a way to go.
Yeah, I'd like to see this a little more, but...
Well, if you hang out for a second, I'll let you dial it. Okay, guys, from here you should be able to see the suspension a little bit and just some ride shots. do you mind if I film you while you ride? Give people a chance to see this thing third person?
Tell me all the do's and don'ts here.
Okay.
I know that it's not a normal bicycle.
And take it back down to level 3, so it's just it's kind of a little bit of assistance.
Okay.
But you can press that throttle like a scooter, or you can pedal, and when you pedal, it senses that there's some pressure,
Okay.
and it gives you some feedback. Otherwise, it's just like a regular bike with some shifters. You'll have some fun with it. What was your name?
I'm Bill.
Bill. My name's Court.
Hey,
Nice to meet you. Do you want me to? Does the saddle height seem okay? You're gonna be able to get up
Oh
on
no,
that?
it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. We got our friend Bill here. He's gonna give it a test ride. There he goes. Yeah, man. The lights. Once it really gets dark out, you can see him, and it's giving him some good. Look at that. Oh yeah, I can see you with that light on there, Bill. How's it feel?
Oh, cool.
Having fun, huh?
This is interesting.
It's been a while. He said it's been a while since he rode even a regular bike, so it's kind of a treat. Got the big wide open parking lot. It's a good spot to do a test ride. Hopefully he comes back. There you go.
Remember which brake is front, which one is front.
We don't want you to flip off.
Yeah, no.
That thing.
So
what are your thoughts?
The right one is the back brake.
Yeah, the right one is the
Yeah,
rear.
okay.
So right rear.
I used to ride bikes and motorcycles, but
You did great, man.
that's cool. That's really cool.
It's your first time on an electric bike?
Yes.
The idea is you can ride this without getting hot and sweaty, because in the summertime around here it gets
Right.
kind of hot. Or you can commute to work with it, or if you're like me, I got kind of a knee injury.
Okay.
So when I'm riding, sometimes it starts to hurt, and having a bit of assist. Or maybe you've got a partner who doesn't want to go as far, and it kind of equalizes things.
Right.
Does
What
that make
kind of a
sense?
range?
This is, somewhere from 25 to 50 miles. It really depends on the terrain, how high the pressure is on the tire, the weight of the rider. Plus, it's got that rack, so, it could
Right.
kind of add up.
So
And
in this territory where you're pretty much flat.
yeah, I'd say 30 to 40 miles, and then that depends on if you use the throttle a lot or if you're actually pedaling and what level. Is that
Okay,
fair?
okay.
It gives you've got this nice battery meter
Bar.
here, and that one, it's a little bit more precise. There's a lot more steps, and so you get a better idea of how
Right.
some of them, they got 5 bars, and you're like, well, is a 20% left or 0% left? There's a big
Okay,
difference.
okay.
This one's kind of nice. I've actually had a lot of fun with it, and it comes in black or white, but the white, you can see it stands
Is this a
out.
newer, say like a 2018 model?
Yeah, this is 2018 model from a company called Surface 604. They're based in Canada, actually, and so that's 604 is their area code for the phone, and
okay.
the idea is like, well, it could go to the beach or the mountains, or
Yeah, okay.
It's a fun little bike. You want to guess how much this thing is? Wheel of Fortune.
I'm thinking 15.
$1,500?
Yeah.
You're very close. It's $1,799, but it comes with a year-long warranty.
I try and keep in contact with the world. And
Yeah, you seem to know
my
what's up.
horizons are,
I'm glad you tried it, and especially on camera. Thank you. Did
You're
this feel
quite
okay?
welcome, quite welcome.
This will help a lot of other
It was
people.
a very energetic, fun thing.
Yeah. You got Is this your golf cart over here?
Yes.
So you golf pretty regularly too?
Every day.
Every day. You got the life, man.
I retired,
Yeah.
and this is my hobby, my life.
It's beautiful out here. This is sort of my hobby, but
Yeah.
this is also my job. I feel thankful.
It's one that you can do. You enjoy your hobby, but you live it, and it's your life.
Yeah. A little bit of both.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
Thank you
we'll
very
leave it
much
there.
for the-
Thanks, guys. Have a great night, man.
Thank you very much.
Well, guys, I think that's about it. Pretty neat to see this thing in person. I've reviewed some of the older versions, and I really like the jump up to the torque sensing pedal assist. It's just really smooth. The throttle still works really well. The bike feels solid. I think it's a pretty good deal. For the full write-up on this, including the measurements, the standover height, length, and all that stuff, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com. Of course, have fun out there, enjoy the scenery, and ride safe.